You can begin your presentation by greeting the examiners and the candidates.
Step 2. State the situation or task given. For example, based on the situation given or according to the situation given.
Step 3. Start your discussion by stating your viewpoint, then move on to the next point. In my opinion, I believe that.
About useful expression. To introduce your point, you may use, first of all, I propose, or I would like to begin by. And to signal your main point, you can use, my main point is, or it is important to. And to illustrate your point, you can use, this is because, or this means that. And don't forget to provide an example by saying for instance or for example. To start a new point, you can use, my next point is, or another suggestion is. And if you want to refer to what you have said earlier, you can use, as I said at the beginning, or I have mentioned earlier that. And if you want to signal cause and effect, you can use as a result or as a consequence. So, to signal that you are about to move on to possible solution, you can say, let's look at some of the possible ways, or let's consider some possible solutions. And to signal that you are drawing a conclusion from what has been said earlier, you can say, therefore, hence, or as a result. And last but not least, to conclude, you can say, in conclusion, in a nutshell, or let me conclude this by saying that.
Moving on to the next part, I will teach you what are the sentences that can be used to start a discussion in your group. You can start by saying, 1. Let's begin our discussion by. 2. Allow me to begin. 3. We are here to discuss. Next, if you want to ask for an opinion to your group member, you can say, 1. What is your opinion? 2. What do you feel about? And 3. Would you like to share opinion on? Other than that, if you wish to give your opinion on the subject matter, you can start by 1. I think. 2. I believe. 3. From my point of view. And to add to that, I also want to share with you some powerful sentences that can be used to express strong agreement. Like, I strongly agree. 2. Absolutely. 3. Exactly. I couldn't agree more with you. Last but not least, if you wish to express usual agreement but not as strong as I mentioned earlier, you can state like 1. You are right. 2. That is so true. 3. I agree that.
Woo! You can say, that's a good idea. That sounds great. I have no objection to that, and many more. What about to reject ideas? To reject ideas, we can say, I do see your point, but and state your rejection. I am sorry, I can't agree with you, or I understand your concern, but and state your point. Next, to ask for clarification, we can say what do you mean by and state your groupmate's statement. If you miss their point, you can ask your groupmate to explain back her or his point, like, I am sorry, I missed your point, could you please explain back? And lastly, to interrupt, you can say, excuse me, could you please clarify that? Or you can ask them to interrupt, like, allow me to interrupt.
I will be talking about ending the group discussion. So let's say you've given your points and your statements and your explanations. You can conclude your points by saying, as a conclusion, in conclusion, to conclude, and in a nutshell. Let's say everyone has given their points and their own conclusions. So someone in the group will have to state a group agreement, a group decision. Let's say if it's a total agreement, they could say, we all agree that our decision is that, we have decided that, we have come to the conclusion that, and so forth. Let's say in an attempt to end the discussion, someone could say, does anyone else have anything to say? Otherwise we shall end this discussion here. They could say, if you have nothing more to add, we shall stop here. So to this, if anyone else has any other points that they'd love to add on, they could add it on right now. Let's say you've asked that question and no one has any, no one says anything, or there's no disagreements. you could close the discussion by saying thank you for your contributions to this discussion. To this, you are being grateful that everyone has played an active role in this discussion and has given each other multiple points to use.